be on a resource library. Yes.
Right. Wonderful. Very good.
Oh,
Well, welcome, Taylin and Delayna. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, welcome. And I guess there's somebody else trying to come in. Let me just admit whoever is coming in. There we go. And well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you both for your fine performances that you submitted for the Ruby Holland Foundation for the Arts. I enjoyed listening to both of you very much,
Thank
and I look forward to hearing you play some more today. So let's see. Now, I just thought, I don't know how many people have been doing Zoom recently. Fortunately, we don't have to do it so much anymore, right? But um, maybe could we test your sound, girls, and see if you have, I mean, I'm not sure, like, um, if you have what particular device you have, but maybe I should hear your violins and see if the sound is coming through. Especially since we're recording it, we would love to, have your sound. Does somebody, would someone like to demonstrate their sound just to see if it's coming through? Because sometimes Zoom suppresses the sound as if it's background noise. So we'll just see if we can hear you a little bit. Yeah, can you play like just something on your A string or a scale real quick? Okay, that's what I thought. So I can hear some of the notes, but then sometimes it kind of sounds like a metallic sound. So I don't know if you have the ability, girls, to go into or if you know how, but I could talk you through it maybe. And I don't know what version of Zoom you have, but if you go in the audio settings, do you know how to do that?
yes.
Okay, next to that little microphone, if you go, there's a pull down or pull up menu that says audio settings.
Yes.
And if you look in there, can you tell me what you see?
There's the speaker where you can test the speaker,
Right?
use separate audio device to play ringtones simultaneously, or test mic.
Hmm. And then a little farther down, do you see something called original sound for musicians?
Yes,
Is that clicked or is that highlighted?
I clicked it.
Okay, perfect. And then below that, do you possibly see something that says high fidelity music mode?
Yes.
And can you click that?
Okay.
And echo cancellation.
Okay.
Perfect. Let's see it now if we hear your violin again and see if that helps out a little bit. Because otherwise, I'll be really struggling to hear you, and then on the recording, it may not come out so well as well. Okay, so play maybe some same thing that you just played. Okay, so that didn't quite do it. So let's go back and just experiment real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but why don't you unclick high fidelity music mode and echo cancellation, and let me just see how that sounds. Okay, wow. Okay. Let's see. What about your microphone? Let's just check your computer. Like where it says test microphone, maybe you could boost up all the way to the right your microphone. Let's try that if that.
That might be as high as it can go.
Okay, then all right. So then all right, let's try taking then original sound off again and see what happens.
Okay.
And then just test it a little bit real quick and then we'll try to do the best that we can, okay? There we go. I forgot to maybe send something to tell about this ahead of time. But anyway, so let's hear you again one more time. Okay, so that's definitely better. So let's go with that for now. If it stops working so well, I might ask you to try some other changes. Okay, so are you Taylin that's playing now?
No, I'm Delayna.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So, would you like to go first, Delina?
Sure.
Great. Okay. And I think today you are playing um, the Acolyte Concerto. Is that right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Great. So, whenever you're ready, and um, so I see that your music stands on that side. If there's any way you could put it on the opposite side so I could kind of watch your bow angle, and then maybe Taylin could sit in the seat where you were sitting, but just kind of switch sides. Would that work for you? I
Yeah,
think it'll help me see your bow angle and everything really well that way. Perfect.
I'm
Okay.
playing a piece of it.
Okay, tell me which part would you like to play?
I believe I'm going to go from page 1
Uh-huh.
to the end of measure 80.
Perfect. Yeah, like 81, right? Perfect. Excellent. All right, good. That's a good amount to do in a master class time. Good. right, wonderful, Delayna. Very good. All right, excellent. Well, you've got a great start on this piece. You know, something that I noticed from your audition submission and your playing just now is you have a very nice healthy tone, which is great, and you have generally very good intonation. So during your playing, I lost a little bit of your video for a while, so I got to just kind of listen. So I don't know, somehow the connection just got a little bit weird. So you know what? Let me just let me ask you. Can you hear my sound? Can you hear that sound? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, very good. All right, so I would love to ask you to play from the beginning where you enter up to measure 32 one more time. Okay, and then this way I can also, sometimes the sound is still going a little bit in and out, but let's just try that again. I just talk to you a little bit about a few things after you play. Very good. So sometimes I'm muting myself in case I turn the page or whatever. Sometimes actually the sound is even a little bit better for some reason when I mute my end. So, all right, very good. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is that our fingers always have to be down before we move the bow, right? So that this way we can coordinate our left hand and right hand really well together, okay? Now, let's see, I have you pinned. Let me just put us kind of side by side for a second so you can you see me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. So, very good. So, for example, where was that one example? Let's see. So maybe let's just do the spot with the double stops. But you want to just get each finger, you know, each set of double stops or your left hand fingers really well set before you use your bow. So for now, it's okay maybe just to put some spaces with your bow and let your left hand get set. Okay, maybe we could try it from... and then get really set. I'm sorry. So give yourself some time to let your left hand fingers get set and put little spaces with your bow for now, okay?
So almost like that?
Right, and then right where you got to, then you put a little space there. So you can go... I'm not sure what your I didn't notice what your fingering was, but... right, so you can put a space between each one of those coming up double stops. Good. That's the right idea. So good. Now let's see. Are you doing all of these fingering? I shouldn't mess with your fingerings, but sometimes it's nice to have another option if you like. I don't really want to change anything unless you like it, but sometimes I like to have my students play in first position for a little bit longer. Like right here. Sorry, I keep playing the wrong note there. Then you shift. And then this one, you really need a nice good tunnel with your fourth finger. So you can play fourth finger with open A, right? Good, good, good. All right. So let's try that passage one more time, and then whichever fingering you.
The double stop passage.
Yes, yeah. Good, 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 good. Okay. And then, the funny thing about double stops is that, it's all about really our bow balance. So sometimes when we're not quite getting the sound that we want, it's a little bit because we're maybe not as well balanced as we need to be. Like, let's do this one, but let me back up just a little bit, but. So just look where your two strings are and try to imagine that you're on a string in between the A string and the D string. And just pull in like a nice even sounding bow there. Right. That was better. That was better because I didn't lose one of the strings as he went. Try it. Try it one more time. Good. So are you looking at the contact point where your bow is?
Yes.
Okay, great. So just try it one more time. Just try to make sure you don't wobble to one string more than the other. Very good, very good. That was a nice tone that time, and I really could hear both strings. So I like to just imagine that there's an extra string in between there. And sometimes what I do, Delayna, is I would play like one string, like the A string note, like, and then I would play, wait, I'm sorry, let's reverse it. We're gonna do it from the D string note, and then the A string note, and then in between, and that's with our nice octave. Can you try that one time? Great, and then let's go back to right, so no matter what your fingers are doing, just try to imagine that your bow is still on that imaginary string. Good, 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 good. Okay, now, I'm sure, with your teacher, I don't know, with my students, I'm always talking a little bit more, always, even though we know how to hold the bow, I'm always just kind of reminding some things about holding the bow. So for you, I would love to see if you could make sure that your fingers are looking a little softer and rounder. I would love to go back to the beginning, and maybe we'll try a couple of things with keeping your bow hold soft so that you can go across strings, you can make smooth changes. There's so many, possibilities that we can do with our bow when we're a little looser and a little softer. Okay, so let's try the very beginning one more time, and we'll just think about softening your fingers and keeping them really flexible.
Okay. Where do you want me to stop in the beginning?
You know what? Let's go up to the double stops.
Okay, so I stop at the double stops?
Yeah, you can stop at the, after this, that's like measure 28, right? Great. That sounded nice, and I feel like I can see. I made you bigger again because I want to be able to see see your bow hand better, and I'd love the participants to see more of you and less of me. So, all right, great. So, one thing that you can do is just try to put your bow. You can set your violin down for a second. but you know, putting your bow on your hand like this, and then when you lift up your bow, kind of using and set it down using only your fingers. So if you can start with your pinky a little more on top of the stick, and maybe even, you know, when we are on the stick, we're like right on the top, right? But if you put it a little bit on the back side, like on this side, rather.
Right, like that, like this.
Yeah. But it would be great even if you could just like, you know, make your hand look like this shape instead of like that. Yes, and then a little deeper down with the fingers. And then your thumb should be really curved too, right? And then get your pinky tip right up on top there, but not the other fingers. Yeah, great. Okay, show me what your thumb looks like. Whoops, let me see if I can show you mine. Whoop, I can't get my, where's my camera? Wait, how come I can't? Oh boy, I'll have to go this way. Yes, there you go. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna just have our hand out and we're just kind of like go up and down with just finger motion if you can. So you don't want to try not to use your arm, but just up and down. Uh-oh, video went away. But, so I can't see you.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Okay, perfect. Okay, so another thing we can do is like maybe hold the stick and then just kind of see if you can use your fingers sideways a little bit, like, like you know, like if you did you ever like flick water at someone?
Yes.
So that would be like maybe you could just take your bow hold off for a second and just pretend you're flicking water like that. Yeah, and sometimes it goes out this way, but if you can go a little bit to the side, like toward your pinky side of your hand, then yeah, that's good. That's good wrist action, and then I can see your fingers flexing. Good. All right, so that this kind of finger action is really great for, you know, that spot where you got to with all this. Oop, where'd it go? You know, this part, right? So that kind of like lovely finger action would be really good for that part, so that we're using not too much big muscle movement, but small muscle movement, okay? But let's put it back to the beginning of the piece once and just keep trying to feel soft and flexible everywhere. And then that'll allow your bow to sort of just sink into the string. Or when you have the... So all your bow changes will be a little more smooth, okay?
Okay.
Yep, let's try it one more time. Just like, how about just the first four measures?
Okay. You said the first four measures?
Yeah. Great. Okay, now, so Delayna, tell me, how are you, what fingering are you using for the last two notes on the second measure? Are you using 4 and 4 or 3 and 4?
4 and 4.
Aha. Okay. So why not just shift to third finger there? And so if you go then you're going to go to a third finger. Yeah, try that.
It actually feels better.
Yeah. You know what? 4/4 is useful many times, but sometimes it can be indistinct, like it's not very clear sounding, right? So if you, I don't know if you brought a pencil with you, but you know, or maybe just remember that. But I think it would help being clear. But now, what position do you think that is if you go to a third finger?
Third position?
It's beyond third position. What do you think?
Fifth position?
Right, exactly. Right. So you're just going to go to a lovely fifth position there, right? And you're going to do the same thing in measure 26. Like, so one line below that, you would do the same fingering there. And then maybe let's practice just getting there. You got there well. But let's just maybe talk about how to get there. So we could talk about our shifting technique a little bit. Great. So when I think you're doing the 1 1 right before it, right? Are you doing that fingering?
Yes.
Right. Okay, good. So when you go G sharp A on 1 and 1, what position are you on when you're on? What position are you in when you're on A?
Second position?
We kind of were in second position for G sharp, except I kind of think of that as an extension back from third position, but we're basically in third position, right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then to get to fifth position, we're gonna make we're gonna do what I call like a guide note, or I sometimes call it a ghost note. But from A, we're gonna get ourselves to fifth position, and then we can drop our third finger. So we're gonna go to third finger, right?
Like,
So
so
you're
like,
gonna go 1 1 3. Right, very, very good. Okay, so and then for fifth position, we usually want to bring our arm this way just a bit. So our thumb is going to go from the side of the instrument to a little bit more underneath the instrument. Well, here's third position, right? But our thumb can come underneath a little bit more. Perfect, because now you're in a really great hand frame. So you brought yourself to your guide note, which is a C natural. And then if you used all your fingers, 2 3 4, you would be able to drop each finger down really well because you're truly in fifth position. Yeah, let's try going. Yeah, that's it. And if you can bring this part of your hand up a little higher by pushing, yeah. Then you don't have to reach for your fourth finger, but you can kind of be right above it and drop on it from above, which gives you more strength.
so like this?
Yeah, great. Can you bring you see where the level of your like your hand becomes your wrist? I
Yeah.
love that line right there to be like kind of at the top of like the top level of your violin. Yes. So we'll do here, let's do a little practice something just to get familiar with that feeling. We're gonna go 1 1 3, and we're kind of in one bow. And you're going to turn your hand as you go and kind of bring that wrinkle spot in your wrist up a little higher. Yeah, good. Try it again. Yes, beautiful. Good. Okay, now let's bring it up to the guide note and then follow it up with each finger for fifth position. Yeah, great. So you're getting the right idea. What I would love is for once you get to your guide note is for your hand already to be high enough that each finger comes down instead of little by little getting higher. So that would look like, so even from the first finger, I'm already high enough that I can just put the fingers down without having to get higher and higher for each one, okay? Let's try that. That's better. Good. Now, do you feel a little bit more freedom in here so that you're not like pushed all the way against the instrument, but you have a little bit more freedom, right?
Yes.
Right. And then I noticed you and your sister both are starting to have a lovely vibrato, but here, what was it? So if you have that little bit of freedom now, which is a little bit more space because you're just a little bit higher, your vibrato, it will be maybe working a little bit better too. How does so? Why don't we try it from the beginning, Delayna, and then once you can take it slow, and then while your bow is stopped, try to bring your guide note up and your hand up to your third finger. Then just like in slow motion, and see if we can get that height that we need. Getting to the third finger, and then maybe adding a little vibrato. It's a lot of things at once, right? Good, 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 good. Okay, so that's a good first step. I gave you a lot of things to think about at once. So let's go back to um, thinking just about. I mean, what you did was you did bring your hand up higher, but we're gonna work a little bit more on finding the guide note so you can really find that third finger securely. Okay, so let's go back to this. Just 1 1 3, right? And you're gonna when you shift, you're gonna be nice and loose as you're shifting. And the shape of your finger when you get to third finger, see if you can make sure that it's round instead of kind of flat. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so you want to get it. You want to get that nice round shape versus a kind of flat shape, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Try the same thing again. That was good. Good, good, good. You have long fingers, huh? Yes, look at that. Nice round curvature of your fingers right there. Good. How does that feel? Pretty weird?
Yes.
All right. Right. So, when we make changes, it will feel weird at first. So we just have to accept that and then kind of just work with it and a little bit of experimentation. And little by little, it starts to feel normal. Right? Okay. So let's try another thing. Let's try doing that same thing, but without hearing the guide note. So we're going to go. So actually, it does come on. No. Well, we're just going to do it on a down bow. Silent guide note and then just drop third finger. Okay, so it may work, it may not work at first, but let's try it. Try to feel where that guide note was and then go to your E. Good. I couldn't hear it that time. Yeah, that's it. You got the note, right? Good. Okay, great. So let's see. Let's go. Then the guide note happens during the bow change. Yeah. So do you feel like you shifted with your first finger for the guide note, or did you shift maybe with your third finger?
Uh, Maybe I should do it with my third finger.
Right, right. So, what I would advise when you try practicing this at home is do a lot of practice with the guide note out loud. Maybe like this. Good. Yeah, try that. Oh, you know what I forgot to say? Yeah, you're going 3 1 1 on the way back. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, try it again, but so you're going to try to make sure you're accurate where you land, right? Yeah. And if you can do it in one bow, that kind of makes it easier for the left hand. Great. Okay, now, yeah. So, what you're trying to do is develop sort of a muscle memory for how far to shift, and you kind of are using your ear to tell you when to stop. So sometimes it's really good to go really slow, and on the way down too. And I always advise loosening or lessening the pressure on your finger in between. So the note you're leaving, you're putting that down all the way down to the fingerboard, but getting to the guide note, getting to it. Once you're there, you put the pressure back down, but in between, it's like instead of pressing all the way down, you're just riding on top, really, like you're not leaving the string, but you're just floating on top of the string, right? So let's try like two more. And then, and sometimes that's why I call it the ghost note sometimes, because it sounds very fluffy, right? When we're loosening the pressure of our finger, lessening. Good. So does it sound to you like in between the first finger and like when you're going from one, one, or one, one, do you feel like it's the same amount of weight on your finger, or do you feel like it's kind of less, like coming up a little bit?
It almost feels like it's like coming up.
Great. Okay, perfect. Because sometimes the sound I can't truly hear it as well as if I was standing next to you. So that's great that you can feel that sensation of it, being the regular pressure, then a little lighter, and then back down again when you get to your note. Okay, good. So then the next step, I would do that, like 8 times in a row. And then I would try to do it with 2 different bows. Silent shift, and then get to your new note, okay? So let's try a couple of those. At the end of your bow, do your silent shift and then your new note that you're shifting to. Okay, so did you go a little too far that time?
Yes.
Okay, so try it again. Good. So make sure you give that first finger a chance to get there, and then you drop third on. But what's the space between 1, 2, 3? Once you've gotten to your guide note, what's the spacing between your 1 to 3?
There's a note in between.
Right, and it's a whole step and another whole step.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So you want to memorize that feeling. There's D and then E, right? But you've been tending to go a little too far, and that might be because your guide note went a little too far, or it might be because in third position you just didn't quite get the feel of the spacing of those 2 whole steps yet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try. I set an alarm so I would know. We'll kind of wrap up in the next few minutes, and then we'll give your sister a chance to play too. So let's see. Let's do it like you can get into it maybe from here. And then let's see if you can do that silent shift and find that beautiful third finger E. Very good. Okay, now let's start from the very beginning. And if you want to do it in tempo, but just put a pause there, like. Pause. And you want to get your bow kind of set too, so we get a nice strong sound on it. Great. Well, that sound came out loud and clear that time. That was great. So now let's just talk a little bit about something else with your bow. We talked a little bit about how you could just remind yourself to be flexible. I want to just go out of the piece for a second, Delayna, and do you see in your music though how there's always a lot of these crescendos and diminuendos that have these symbols, and for the first actually on the first page there's so many of them, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, we have all these those are like phrasing marks. They're dynamics too, which is, getting louder and getting softer. But we can kind of use our bow. We really need to use our bow like a paintbrush to sort of like create those sounds. So, sometimes we get really focused on the left hand for things because that's where all the notes are. And, even things like shifting and getting our left hand technique really good, but also That's why flexibility in our bow hand is really important, because our bow is like a paintbrush to make all the beautiful types of sounds that we want to make. So, and like I said, you have a very beautiful, clear, healthy sound, which is lovely. So to expand on that, maybe let's try doing on your A string. In the middle of your A string, I want you to kind of squeeze your fingers and make a crescendo and then a diminuendo. So that would sound like this. Or, so you're going to kind of squeeze your fingers and put a little more weight in the middle of the bow. Yes, good. And then do it on an up bow. Good. Let's see if you can do it one more time, down bow and up bow, but get a little farther out into your upper half of the bow this time. Good. And then I would experiment with doing twice per bow. Good. So Delayna, when you get to the tip, just let your bow rest on the string, sweetie. Just let it stop, and it's got no weight on it. It's just there, and then you're getting there, but then you're lifting your bow off, and when you put your bow back on, you're kind of not at the tip anymore.
Okay.
Good. Now, are you coming up when you're after you've squeezed and you're putting pressure down, or like weight down, not pressure, but like weight down into the string? Do you feel like you're coming all the way back up from where you started? Like kind of light at the beginning, right? Right here it's kind of fluffy, right?
Yes.
And when you begin again, fluffy. Okay? Try one more time. Better. Okay. And so I'm going to give you something to experiment with, and you can, see, hopefully your teacher likes this idea, but you can do, we just did 2 in a bow. You can do 3 in a bow, 4 in a bow, 5 in a bow, 6 in a bow, 7 and 8 in a bow, right? So if you were doing 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like to do 2 of everything, a down bow and an up bow for everything. And then, by the time you get to 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to stand or move back so you can see my bow hand a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's doing this kind of like a pulsing thing, and that's going to help you, I think, with your phrasing. So, for example, why don't we start at, just real quick, we're going to start at measure. What is that? 37. It's on that G sharp. It's kind of a funny place to start, but like right there, that would be a place where you can sink more into the string. Good. Let's go right on that note. Good. And then the next bow too. You can put more weight on that one. So that one's an up bow, right? Good. So make sure you control your bow this way a little bit too. Good. And then I'm going to just show you as we keep going. Now there's going to be like this sort of like stepwise, like there's going to be like what we call like stacked dynamics, where you might be maybe mezzo forte-ish, but then there's a big crescendo coming in like measures 41 and 42, and you can kind of be using this idea. So if I start at right where we were, pick up to measure 39. Here you can go here. And then we'll do it here. to there, okay? So one, I don't know if it's a good place to start. Maybe we could go back to 33 and maybe play until about the downbeat of measure 44. And then see if you can use that idea of just like sinking in every time you see that you're getting a little crescendo and you get louder by, kind of squeezing and giving a little more weight into the note and then releasing it.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to tell a little bit about sound. So, um, so these things that I'm talking about with more weight, if I just pick a note, we're really starting from not too much weight. So we don't want to get a gritty sound, and I'm not sure if that's zoom or maybe if you maybe were just pressing a little too hard sometimes, but we don't want to ever get like grit in our sound, right? So, a really good one to do just for the to make it really simple is measure 36. Can you start with a kind of a slightly heavy bow and then just release it to no pressure at the tip. Good. Good. So how does it sound to you at the tip? Does it sound like a lot, what's the word? Almost fluffy? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's see. Let's think of another. Okay, measure the pickup to measure 39. Let's start at the tip with not too much weight. But as you come to the frog, just sink the weight in a little bit more. Good, very good. Okay, great. So that's the idea. So, we talked about some things that you can think about with your bow hand. I'm going to finish by saying about finger flexibility. I would maybe love to see you just learn to let your bow rest on your fingers upside down, and then you put your pinky on top and your thumb inside, and then turn it like this and set it on your shoulder so that it just still has that nice sort of round shape. So when we're holding our bow with the fingers like this, it forces us to use mostly our arm, although you can use your wrist a little bit. But I just want to see if you can get, so if you hold your bow by the end screw and just lay it across your fingers, and then down at where you would, and then put it on the middle joint, instead of don't put it close to these knuckles back here, but put it in the middle of your finger. Yeah, a little below the middle knuckle, like closer to the tip of your fingers a little bit more. Yes, okay, and then just wrap your fingers around gently and put your pinky on the stick and your thumb in, and then, so now you're still holding hopefully by here, so you don't have to really use your fingers to hold the bow, and you can just kind of turn it upright. So you're not really trying to, when we hold the bow like this, it's very heavy because there's so much bow out here, and you're having to balance it with your pinky. So I recommend trying not to hold it too much like that, but just like this, because that can make it feel very loose. Yeah, good. So, I think your teacher and you are doing a lovely job, but just ask her to maybe help you try to get your fingers to get a little rounder. Does she talk about that sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah. It's hard to make changes, right? So one of the things I like to do is just make it really, really easy. Just do this, and you're not even having to play, and then just turn it and hold it like that for a few seconds, and that's it. Yeah. So that, and then that's not even like having to bring it to the instrument or, keep control of it that way, but just letting it have a new feeling. Yeah. I like to have these fingers come down a little bit more so they're not all up here. So, and then also one thing I like to do is just hold the stick like this and let the fingers kind of feel like they're just hanging. Like if you were hanging from the door,
Yes.
right? Your fingers would be hanging like this instead of, you wouldn't hang from the door like that, right? Yes, yes. Now just add that pinky on top, and don't let your thumb do anything yet. Yeah, your thumb can be down here, and then that's beautiful. And then this finger just resting on, good, and then just add your thumb in, and then you're holding the weight of your bow with your other hand here. So, and I like to hold it from the top so I don't get close to the hair. But yeah, and then just feel it hanging on there. And also maybe you could be like, kind of doing a little just flexible, like you could be a little jellyfish kind of floating around in the ocean. Yeah, it's already looking, yes, it's looking more round. Sometimes I put, you know, it's hard to get that pinky on, so sometimes I use one of these, and I don't know if you have anything, or sometimes I even put just like a little bit of something fuzzy there, just to be able to grip a little bit, so it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Delaney, you're doing a beautiful job on this concerto. I hope you have a really fun with it. Keep working on doing more of the fingerings that might be in your music and shifting, because you're already able to do it. So just expand your uh, repertoire of getting around your instrument and not doing quite so much in first position. Like right where we were at measure 35 or 39. But you could be up here. And then I think you probably have that fingering in your book, right? Or in your music. Like
Yeah.
3 4 4, right?
Yes, 3/4.
Right. So if you do that, you get a nice rich sound on the G string. So keep working on expanding your ability to um, go out of first position and get comfortable with that. Okay?
Okay.
Great.
Thank
Thanks for playing for me. I really enjoyed listening to you.
thank you.
All right. So let's bring Taylin in. Hi, Taylin. How are you?
Fine.
Wonderful. What are you going to play for me today?
I'm gonna play the Reading Concerto, Opus 25, 2 of 3 pages.
Okay, wait, remind me, the reading concerto, is that in book 2 of the Barber Barber?
I actually don't know.
Okay. Can you let me hear the beginning of it, because I have that music handy. I'll just want to look at that. I thought maybe you were going to play the Bach double. So, but I have that book, but it's just I just have to bend down and get it off the floor. Can you play the beginning and make sure I hear if it's the right piece that I'm thinking of? Okay, so Taylin, let's see. Can I see the page of your music so I can identify? It's a little still hard to hear you guys sometimes.
I still have I have a copy of it.
Reading concertino. You have a copy of it. Yeah, that's good. Good. Look at you, all in fifth position and stuff too. Great. Um, I don't know that I do have that music, so I don't know that I can find it really fast. So, um, hmm. You just have a copy of it, right? So Concertino by Reading. And it's in D major. It has 2 sharps, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you to try one thing. Let's go back into settings, and can you try, did I say to take original sound off?
Yes.
Yes, I think.
All right, let's go back to trying it with original sound, but and high fidelity music mode, but no echo cancellation.
Okay.
Because I really want to be able to hear you super well since I don't have the music right in front of me, okay? All right, let's see how that works. Oops, I muted myself so I could hear you better. And you didn't hear my noises as I was finding music. All right, you're shifting all over this piece. That's awesome. Very, very good. All right, you know what? I think I know this piece, or where I can find it really quick. Can you give me just a second so I can find music to look at? And let me hear you play just the beginning one more time, like maybe 3-4 lines or something.
key.
Okay. Yeah, great. So very good. All right. So you're doing some incredible shifting. That's great. I think I like to just try a little something related to shifting, and hopefully, Delayna can be listening in on this and try it on her own too. Um, when we shift, we want to make sure that our thumb is our hand is loose and gliding, right? And when we shift, if we keep the pressure down, it sounds a little harsh, right? So we want to loosen or lessen the pressure in between, right? So where's the first shift in your music? Play where the first shift is in your music, but see if in between the note that you're leaving and the note that you're going to, you can just lessen the pressure a little bit with your left, whichever finger you're using. I don't have that music, so I can't tell you where to do it, but. Right, and then what about that shift going da-dee-ya? Can you do that one again? Good, good, good. So you can, if you hear like sticky sounds in between, you would be pressing down too much because you'd be getting stuck a little bit, right? So good. So let's try a little thing that I like to do with shifting. I call this shifting scale on one string. And you know what, I'm going to make us a little bit more, let's see if I can make the screen a little more equal for the moment. There we go. Hey, there we go. Now we're both a little bit bigger, so you can kind of maybe see me. Hopefully, can you see me a little easier right now, Taelyn? Am I bigger? Maybe that was just my screen, but can you see me, my left hand, pretty well?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is a scale starting on B flat, which is a low one on the A string. And I'll show you how I do it first. So I'm going to shift to every note in the scale, but all on the A string. So, and then you can hear how I was showing your sister earlier that the sound in between is kind of fluffy sounding. Okay, so let's have you try that. Yeah, and then you're gonna go. And then. And then last one. Good. And then just a little reminder, something that I told Delayna too. This area right here where our hand and wrist meet, and we've got like a little line there on our hand. You want to bring, after the first four notes, you want to bring that line as high as the top of your violin, so it's not down here, because it's really hard to reach then. But if you come and then bring your arm this direction a little bit, you'll be able to reach those better. So this way you're really shifting by using your arm and not just pushing fingers forward, okay? So let's try the last one. But oops, I gotta go this direction. If you can see, this is like right at the level or a little above my violin. Okay, try that. Good. And can your elbow come a little more that direction? Very good, very good. Okay, good. Now, back. Let's do like the first note, first shift. Okay, so I'm so sorry about this, Taylin. With both you guys, I am having a really hard time hearing exactly what the sound sounds like because it goes in and out because of Zoom. So, can you tell me, does it sound exactly the same sound all the way through the shift? Or does it sound lighter in between while you're shifting?
Um, it kind of sounds a little bit lighter.
Okay, right. So go for as much lightness in between as you can. The bow weight will get a little bit lighter too, okay? Good. Okay, great. So that's one thing. So we just want to make sure when we're shifting that we really are not always pressing down really hard all the way through the shift, okay? Here, let's hear the beginning of your song again, and I'll kind of listen for the first few shifts. So good. I'm going to stop you there just because I can hear quite a few shifts in there, and that's good. Very good. Good. I think you are getting to your shifts pretty well. Just a little word of caution when you're up in fifth position, like that high F sharp. Um, we want to try to keep the fingers round there so they don't collapse, like that shape maybe. Let me get my finger out of the way. So you want to always try to keep your fingers round, right? And so I don't know where I can't really tell where your thumb is, but when you're up there, Taylin, is your thumb here or is it on the side a little?
I think it's like up there.
Okay, so when we come to third position, it can be up here, but when we go up higher, then like actually to fourth position, it's okay to be there too. But for fifth position, we want the thumb to go underneath um, the neck a little bit more. So that gives us a little more height in our hand, and we can have our fingers rounded like they are in first position, right? And if they're not rounded in first position, then you may want to do like a little thinking about making sure they're always round, right? Um, play me right before that fifth position where you're going from that 1 to 4. See, so your fingers were all like a little bit high, right? Can you keep them closer to the fingerboard? Good, good. And where was your thumb during that? Was it more on the side or more underneath?
Underneath.
Great, very good, excellent. Okay, good. Now let's shift our focus just a little bit again, and we're going to talk a little bit about the bow. I super wish I had that music in front of me so I could kind of see what's written there. But at least what I'm hearing. Oh, and by the way, that last time you played all those shifts, and I could hear you all the way through, which was sort of like a miracle. So I could hear the whole sound on every note, which was great. So hopefully that will stay. But what I could hear is that it sounds a bit like the same. Did you leave me? Where did you go? Are you there still? There you are. Okay. Yeah. I feel like every part of the piece sounds kind of the same with the bow right now. So I want to see if we can have some ups and downs in the bow by doing, you know, not every note is the most important, right? So sometimes in this kind of music, when the notes get higher, we get a little louder, and sometimes when the notes get lower, we get a little softer. So you kind of want to have more ups and downs, and we want to be able to kind of paint that with our bow too. So, can you try something for me, like just on like a D major scale? Get loud, and then going down, get a little less loud. I started a little too loud, so you could start a little soft and then get loud. Good. Okay, so I want you to start your piece again, and I want you to sort of use that idea wherever you think like the sound needs to increase, you can use a little more weight with your bow arm. And where you think maybe the notes are not so important, or maybe the notes are getting lower, just try it giving us a little variety in your sound, okay?
You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, sometimes for whatever reason, when I'm muted, I can hear you better, but not always. But anyway, I'm searching for that music online. Okay, so Taelyn, I think I hear some of that, but I can't always hear it too well. Give me maybe pick four measures, not the very beginning, but pick four measures or something that is like a phrase, like a musical sentence. And then let me hear just one small phrase with that idea of maybe more weight in the bow and then less weight, so we get some variety. But you have to use the music to try to guide you on where that would be.
Want me to take a picture of her music real quick and email it?
That would be awesome. Yes, here. Let me just put my email in the chat here, and then that would be super helpful. Okay, there is my email. There's another reading concertina, but maybe this is a different movement than the one I'm thinking of, but wasn't not finding that in my music right away. Does it say first or third movement or something on it? Does it say a particular movement?
No, it just says it's by reading Opus 25.
Oh, okay. I should have asked that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick four measures, and I'll just look for your email when it gets here. Like four measures that you love, or something that feels easy to play. Good. Okay, now where would you say is the peak part of that four measures? Can you like find it in your music?
Probably the scale part.
Right. Yeah, C sharp, right? It's kind of like a resolution there, right? So that could be a place where we give it like la da, right? So you're kind of maybe leading up to that resolution. So try that phrase again and see if you can kind of lead your sound to that particular note. Uh-huh, good. Okay. Now let's try the same thing in the beginning. Like play four measures or eight measures at the beginning and kind of see where you feel like where the most important notes are. That's where you're going to sort of shape your music toward those important notes. Okay, good. All right, let me just go to the email real quick because I saw that come. I'm so sorry that I can't seem to fix the sound. Are you guys on an iPad?
The computer.
On a computer, okay. Hmm. Can you try one more thing for me, Taylor? Go into your audio settings, and then before you hit like when you go to the little pull up menu on by the microphone, it'll say select a microphone or select a speaker. Can you tell me under select a microphone what it says?
Same as system.
Uh-huh. Are there any other options?
The other one says microphone, FHD camera microphone.
Camera microphone. Can you try switching it to that and see if it makes any change? And then play like the beginning of your piece again. Let's see if that changes anything. Yes, I could hear it a little bit better. Let's try that for a little while and see if it works. Okay. Okay, good. Now I have your music. Great. So, da dee a da 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 dee da 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 da. Right? I think the first note of your third measure is the most important note for the first four measures. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let me hear you again. And see, you can select on your second measure, da dee da 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 da, and see if you can make your bow sing to that first note of the third measure. Good, very good. Okay, and then going on, D, D sharp, E. So we're kind of leading to that, right? So there's a good place as an example. You go up to that high B. Here, let me show you as an example. So coming down from a high, like a high point, we're going up first. Right, you can come down a little bit more. So maybe you'll use a little less weight with your bow there, right? Good, and there's another place to do that. Where am I? Let's see. Yeah. Let me go back up again, right? Good. So let's see. Let's do a little bit of experimenting with a couple of things. Maybe let's play a nice third finger on the A string. And what we're going to do is we're going to start loud and then get soft. And then we're going to start soft and get loud. But can you get a little softer toward the tip? Oops, sorry. Good. Okay, great. Now let's try the opposite of that. Soft to loud to soft. Good. Okay, and then it's not coming super clear, but I kind of can hear you a little bit. But double check for me what your bow is doing as far as what lane it's staying in or your contact point. So make sure it's kind of staying in the same contact point. Great. So yeah, so on some of these places like measure, I'm so glad you have your measures numbered. Oh, that's so nice. Like, and measure 24. So we have all these 16th notes and we're going to a long up bow to the frog, and that's where we want to have less sound this particular time, right? So let's try maybe the measure before that. And then you're going to get softer as you go. Maybe I don't know if we started in the same place. Do you have your music numbered, right? So I might have said the wrong measure number. Can you start in measure 28? Is that where you started? Yeah, perfect. So now, let's see. Let me ask you to kind of analyze what you heard. Did you hear a lot of changes in those three measures or so that you played, or did it sound more all the same?
I heard more changes.
Okay, good. I'd like to hear even like really exaggerate how soft you can get going from the end of measure 29 into measure 30. Let's see if I can hear it this time, like a little bit more exaggerated, getting softer.
Which measures again?
Well, let's start at measure 28 again and go to let's go all the way through measure 31. And in measure 29 and measure 31, at the end of those measures, you're going to get a little less sound. Because you have a big, nice, healthy sound. So we're just trying to create some variety. Okay, good. Now, is this a, that was better, by the way. I could hear more difference. Is this a sticky place for your fingers that we just got to? Um, do your fingers get a little stuck there sometimes?
Yes.
Okay, that didn't seem stuck that time, so that's good. But what do you usually do when something like that happens if you like get a little bit like uncoordinated or something?
I just try to keep on playing.
Ah, okay. You know what? Sometimes we want to do a little maintenance on those spots and just kind of go back and, oh, I'm just going to do this one measure, but maybe slower. Especially when there's a shift involved right there, like stop and get in place, whatever, that kind of thing, okay? How about, you know what, let's go from measure 28, and then let's try to go up to where it changes key at measure 40. Okay, and you can kind of be thinking about what your bow needs to do in there to create more variety of sound, okay? Right, so then guess what? At this spot where you just got to, suddenly it's going to be going to piano, right? So let's see how we could set that up. In fact, you have a diminuendo 2 measures before that, right? So if you start, right, we want to set that up a little bit more gently. So let's do that one more time and get your bow going the right way. I started on the where you have a fingering of 2, 2. Taylor, I could hear some difference that time for sure. But let me ask you to give yourself a score. Like if 10 was like, oh, I totally changed it as much as possible, 1 being, oh, I didn't change it at all. What score would you give yourself on your diminuendo?
Maybe 7 or 8.
Okay, so okay, that's pretty good then. All right, can you get all the way like to 9 or 10? Like, you know, if it's very beefy sounding, like really, really, really like deep sounding. So maybe if like 10 is the most resonant deep sound you can get. Already in the next measure where it says diminuendo, can you get like bring it down to 6? And then by the end of measure 39, you could bring it down to like 3. Good, good. And by the way, those are 2 C's. Because there's dashes there, so it's like a very gentle hook bow, okay? Yeah, and by the way, that was really great. I could really hear a difference that time. All right, let's play just a, if I have to stop in a minute, let's just play a little bit more now that I have your music. So let's start right at the key change. Okay, you know what? So what happens going there? There's a little bit of a slowdown, right? And then we go back to tempo. So let's do measure. Well, now we don't have measure numbers. So hang on, let me go back and count from the first 39. 40 is where we start the key change. 41, 42, 43. And measure 44 is the very beginning of your second page. So let's start at measure. Let's start right on the second page. Oh, sorry. Slow down, just let it gracefully slow down a little bit. So just, yeah, start at the top of the second page. Right. And sometimes those, when you have this rhythm, that 16th note could be like showing your pianist, if you get a chance to play this with piano, what the new tempo is. So you can kind of do, and then you kind of just fall into the odd tempo. Let's hear more on the A, longer on the A. Remember, it kind of sounds like you're playing two even notes. So make sure the A is longer. Okay. Yes, good. Now, do you hear, sorry, do you hear the sound being a little bit gritty, Taelyn?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so you know what? I want you to do the same thing, but move away from the bridge just a little bit, and then see if you can actually not move your bow. Yeah, we're going to try to move the bow. You're going to use the same amount of bow, but move it a bit faster so it's not heavy and slow. Yeah, so if you ever hear this, so whenever you hear it sounding a little bit gritty, I want you to experiment with moving your bow in different places and the speed of your bow, because our sound really comes from three things. It comes from the amount, the placement of your bow. That's actually kind of like the last thing, but the first thing is how much weight, and then the second thing is speed. Okay, so if I play these same notes slow, or with a heavy pressure, even if I use a lot of bow, but if I use less pressure, then I want to use more speed, right? So in this place we want to be nimble. So maybe use a little bit lighter and faster bow. Good. And can you control a little bit better this time where your bow is in relation? Getting too close to the bridge means it might have that gritty sound too, but don't get too close to the fingerboard either though. Yeah. Okay, now did your bow, I loved where you started. Did your bow stay in that same place or did it change in the middle?
It changed.
A little bit, right? So you could, if you want to do that on purpose, like there, going a little closer to the bridge, but then coming away from the bridge. Lovely, very lovely. Okay, great. So let me go back to that idea before we wrap up, which is your sound comes from three things: the amount of weight that you put, the amount of speed that you put, and then your bow placement back and forth between the bridge and the fingerboard, right? And sometimes it's a great idea just to kind of stay in your best area. And then sometimes when you really want to make drastic changes like getting softer, you can move out to the fingerboard, or when it's very strong, you want to be closer to the bridge, right? But so maybe going forward, I'd love to see you experiment with a little bit more with your weight and your speed, especially, and also being really conscious of like where are you allowing your bow to move, and you be in charge of where the bow travels and what lane it is in, so that we don't accidentally like go here, or sometimes like a little too close to the bridge. Okay, so those are some ideas that you can think about for your sound. I love how you're getting around this piece, and you sound lovely, and your left hand is doing wonderful things. Just a reminder to, especially, and it's harder up here, but up here, just to try to not collapse any fingers and just keep those fingers around, and keep thinking about like some of the same things I said to Delayna too. You could just keep thinking about keeping the fingers as round and then as flexible as possible. Okay, I think you're doing some great things, and I just want to congratulate you both again. And do you guys have any questions?
No.
No.
All right. Well, wait, oh, I forgot to ask you. Where are you located?
Apopka.
What? Say that again.
Apopka.
Oh, like in Florida.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So I'm a little bit south of you guys, like in Palm Beach County. So awesome. Do you guys do Florida Federation of Music Clubs?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I've done that with my students for a long time too. So wonderful. So I think you guys are doing terrific. Really, really happy to have heard you, and please give my congratulations to your teacher as well.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, so I'll maybe we'll see each other at Federation, but continue with what you're doing, girls. It sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Great. Good luck to you all. Okay.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raimondi.
Hello again, Elizabeth.
What a great session. And
Thank
I will be giving a summary of everything, and look forward to meeting you in person one day.
That would be lovely. I would enjoy that as well. So thank you so
Okay.
much for all your efforts, and let me know if I can do anything else.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.